Hello friends. Welcome back to Wonderfully Made Bible Stories for Children. I'm so glad you're here. Last time we heard about a powerful moment on Mount Carmel. Elijah stood before many people and showed that the Lord is the true God. Fire came down from heaven, and everyone saw that the Lord alone is God. It was a big, bold moment. But what happens after something like that? What happens when fear comes back, even after a great victory? Today, we'll hear what happened next, when Elijah became afraid, and how God met him in a very unexpected way. Are you ready? Let's jump in. After everything that happened on Mount Carmel, the news reached Queen Jezebel. She was very angry. She sent a message to Elijah, saying that she would take his life. When Elijah heard this, he became afraid. So he ran away. He traveled far, away from the city, away from danger, until he came into the wilderness. There, he sat down under a small tree. Elijah felt very tired. Not just in his body, but in his heart. He had been faithful to the Lord, but now he felt alone and afraid. He lay down under the tree and fell asleep. While he was resting, an angel came to him. The angel woke him and gave him food and water. Elijah ate and drank, and then he lay down again. The angel came a second time and told him to eat again, because the journey ahead would be too much for him. So Elijah ate and drank once more. With that strength, he traveled for many days and nights until he came to a mountain called Horeb. There, he went into a cave and stayed for the night. At the mountain, the word of the Lord came to Elijah. God asked him why he was there. Elijah explained that he had tried to serve God faithfully, but now he felt alone, and his life was in danger. Then God told Elijah to stand on the mountain. Something powerful began to happen. A great and strong wind passed by, so strong that it broke rocks apart. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake, there was a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. Then, there was a low, gentle sound. And when Elijah heard it, he covered his face and stood at the entrance of the cave. God spoke to him again. God had not forgotten Elijah. God had not left him alone. Even in the quiet, God was there. God gave Elijah instructions. He told him to return and continue the work he had been given. God also told Elijah that he was not alone. There were still many people in Israel who had not turned away from the Lord. And God told Elijah to appoint a man named Elisha, who would help carry on the work after him. Elijah obeyed. He went and found Elisha, and Elisha began to follow him. God was still at work. Let's think about this story together. Have you ever felt tired or afraid, even after doing something good or brave? Elijah felt alone, but was he really alone? What did God show him? God was not in the loud wind or earthquake, but in a gentle sound. What might this teach us about how God works? When Elijah felt like giving up, what did God give him instead? Sometimes we expect God to show up in big, powerful ways. And sometimes He does. But this story reminds us that God also works in quiet ways. Steady, gentle, and faithful. And even when we feel alone, God sees us, cares for us, and continues His work. Thanks for joining me today. Next time on Wonderfully Made, we'll see what happens as Elisha begins to follow Elijah. A farmer will leave everything behind. A prophet will pass on his work. And we'll begin to see how God's plan continues through the next servant He has chosen. Until then, remember, you are wonderfully made. Bye for now.